Article 12, right to marry. This is a pretty short one. I know that in Sweden we don't even have a law which explicitly says that a person has a right to marry. However, Sweden does have a law which is technically like a umbrella article, or in Swedish, paragraph, where it pretty much accumulates the whole idea of Sweden being a collaborative association or a ratified connection with the ECHR convention. Meaning in Sweden, you would use RF 219 to refer to this right. Or you could also find other rights, which is about the proportionalities needed to be applied in limiting certain rights. However, it's not explicitly explained in Sweden's constitution. Moving on, states can technically restrict marriage. This is not an absolute thing. However, doing so is not automatically allowed. See F v Switzerland about a man that got banned from marriage for 3 years due to adultery. In Sweden, I would say, det där är säkert ett fall av jäv om någonting. Där du skulle kunna tänka dig kanske det inte finns något sätt att kunna argumentera att banna någon från att gifta sig i 3 år utan att ha gjort det personligt. Då det är väldigt, väldigt godtyckligt och väldigt arbiträrt. Anyway, sorry to going into Swedish real quick. Then rights limited to straight marriage. That's right, guys. The European Convention of Rights doesn't include, in its article about the right to marriage, LGBTQ individuals. And this was quite disappointing reading. However, if you look at the manners in which ECHR was created at its time, it is understandable. This whole organization couldn't have existed if Article 12 hadn't been exclusively for straight marriages. However, I think it's interesting with the developments that happened 10 years ago, specifically during 2015, where things were growing pretty quickly. I would have hoped to have thought, now that I've grown up, that back in those days, a person in my age could have looked back at such a momentous period where there was real action being taken, meaning there were precedents being set for these things. I would have hoped that the ECHR actually would have taken the steps to making Article 12 also include people of the same sex which want to get married. Even if you want to do that through a protocol, that's fine. The protocol of banning death as a punishment has been ratified by, I'm pretty sure, every country. Even if it isn't technically part of the official articles, it's a protocol. But even so, if every country ratifies a protocol, it practically becomes an article. Because, as you guys should know, any country which is a part of the convention has to have ratified at least the articles. And then they get to decide if they want to ratify the protocols thereafter. Moving on, does not include right to divorce or right to adopt. No, that's pretty much it.